everybody. Today I'm going to teach you pretty much the basics on using the world editor. I'm not going to go into deep detail. I'm going to pretty much just show you like what does what's important, what's not important. I'm not going to teach you how to go about, building a whole map from scratch. That's up to you to figure out. There's other YouTube videos out there that, you know, take you through the process of generating a map from nothing and how to get it into Beam. I'm a map editor. I am not a map maker. So this is pretty much for, the derby guys that are starting their own servers, the derby guys that want to build their own maps for single player, for AI, what have you. So that's pretty much what we're going to focus on today. I'm just going to pretty much go through the world editor, showing you what does what you need to pay attention to, what helps you build your map. Um, like this here, this is just a flat map. That's all it is. You can get it from Beam Monster's website. It's called Beamng Map. It's a good map for you to start. It gives you the ability to build onto it, learn how to use World Editor. There's not a whole lot of room in here, but for a starter map, for learning how to do this kind of stuff, it is by far the perfect map. I did use this map for like my first full map build. I deleted a lot of the stuff on here just for the purpose of making this video. But as you can see, I had like a racetrack here. I had some more racetracks here. I had some drag strips over here. My monster truck freestyle course over here. I have a monster truck racetrack here with an oval. This is the map that taught me how to edit and build maps the way I know how to do it now. If you're interested in getting that map, you can just go to Google and just do Beamng Map, Beam Monsters, and it's right there. It's free to download. All you have to do is sign up for Beam Monsters, and you can download it. If you're not signed up for Beam Monsters already, you should, because they got a lot of really awesome stuff, especially if you like monster trucks. Beam Monsters is awesome. They're great. They really are. Well, let's go ahead and jump into World Editor here. So you want to press F11 to get into World Editor. And the things you want, for map editing, you really don't need the material editor. I never use it unless I'm having like a no texture issue that I'm trying to fix. You do want the scene tree. The scene tree is relatively important, especially when you're working on like finer details, because you can go in there, you can hide stuff so you can get all the textures right underneath them. You can smoothen out this stuff, which, like I said, this was like the first map that I actually did on my own. So as you can see, there's a lot of roughness and it pretty much looks like crap in certain areas. Now I'm a lot better at this stuff. So it's kind of nice coming back and looking at the stuff like this that I totally messed up on and didn't care. Uh Asset browser. Asset browser is one of the most important tools in here, as well as the inspector. The inspector, if you are looking to take assets out of other maps, say like this track, this is where you find it. You go into the inspector of whatever map you're on, you come down here to where this file path is, and you use your right arrow button to move over to follow the folder path to figure out what it is. So, of the fact that I already have it in this map, it's my main levels file, art, shapes, and then the Mazdera Speedway, and that's the folder you got to grab, drag it over to your folder, and then you got to do the coding in it quick, which isn't too hard. We'll get into that on a later date. And then the asset browser, as I said, this is the most important thing. This is where all your assets are going to be. When you put your assets in here, if you're starting with a blank map like this, you have to go and get everything. So you need to remember where you put it inside your folders. So, you know, you got props here. I got buildings, blocks, coming down to assets. We got like barriers. So when you go to open up a barrier, you want to look for the one with this little cube right here that's .dae, and then there it is. And then, so we're going to build a derby track real quick. So, when you're up in the sky like this is going to spawn way up here. So what you can do is you can hit this button right here, and then when you go to move it, it'll just snap it down to the ground. So if you want to keep everything level with the ground, that's a good way of keeping everything level and even. So next, what you would want to do is hit shift and then drag this over. And when you hit shift, it'll multiply. And then you can hit control, grab the other one, shift, and then drag it on over. You can do that as much as you want. That's how you're going to build the walls for your track. And then, if you want to rotate everything, that's the rotate button. You can put your rotate lock on so you can set it to where it'll only rotate at 45 degrees. You can bring it all the way down to 5 degrees. Or, for that finer detail, you can just turn it off and it'll just move little by little. It's all what you need it to do. And then, right there is how you can move it. Oh, you can resize it. This is just, it takes a little bit of playing around. It's realistically simple once you get used to it, but when you're first starting to learn, it is really intimidating. This is your go back button, of course, or you can go back forward. A lot of the issues that people have is with like terrains, textures, that's in the terrain tools right here. And if your guys's doesn't look like mine does, this is where you're gonna find all the stuff. So anything that's not up here is gonna be in here. But this is like the size of your tool, as you can see. If you have a smaller computer, you don't want that very big. This is very RAM intensive. You can change it from circles to squares. You can adjust the pressure. So this is like your terrain painter. This is where you get like the ground texture and stuff like that. So like we could do cement. And right now I have the pressure turned down just to kind of show you that if you turn the pressure down, you can get like good edge effects, or you can turn it all the way up and it just goes full texture. Um, yeah, there's like your mud, and that's again all in this button right here. If you have a new map and you don't have a lot of these textures in here, you can go down to the terrain material library, and this will hold all the terrains that you don't currently have loaded in. So all you got to do is just click one. hit save, and it'll pop in. And then a lot of the raising and lowering of terrain, like over here. Say I want everything the height that this is. You can come over here, click on that, click on the top of that, and now you can make sure that the set height is selected, and it'll all go up to that terrain that you selected. And then you can come over here and you can smoothen it out. If you want it more like a hill, you can grab that and it'll, smoothen it into a hill. And then you can come back through and then clean it all up with this. It just takes a lot of playing around. That's pretty much the basics of what you're gonna need to know. It is a lot to get used to. The best thing you can do is just play around. You're not going to be making anything really amazing to begin with. And it's not about making the best track right off the bat. It's all about, building a track, having fun with your friends, and then just playing around until you get better at it and start building what you want to build. Real quick though, before we end this, the most important part of track building is the save button up here. Save all the time. Every time you place down your barriers, anytime you change the texture, always save it. Saving is important. World Editor is not perfect. World Editor crashes all the time. I cannot tell you how many times I have gotten very far into my builds and my world editor has crashed and I had to completely start from scratch. I mean, I used to have a stadium right here. I've had to place that stadium, rebuild the track in it multiple times because I refuse to save. So save all the time. The more you save, the better. So with that being said, we're going to show you, if you're doing this just for your own personal use, this is all you need to do. Just build the track. You're happy with it. It's done from there. But if you're going to upload this onto the repository, if you're going to upload this to your server, there's another step you have to do because as of right now, you can't just throw it in. So what you got to do is you got to leave and you should be having this map unpacked in your unpacked folder. So like, I got the Boot Heel Bangers County Fair that I built for Boot Heel. I got mine for my map or for my server, Devil's Proving Ground, and then I got the map for Custom Junkies. So we're just gonna go ahead and use the one for Boot Heel, or I don't even know which one we're gonna use, to be honest with you. But what you want to do is go to your mods folder, go up a folder, go to your levels folder. So yeah, we'll use the one for Boot Heel. So you're going to copy this folder right here. Go back to your mods, go back to your unpacked, go into your folder, go into levels and paste it right there. And now all you have to do to upload it, whether it's to your server or to the repository, is go back to this levels folder, compress it, and once it's done, just name it whatever you want, and then from there you can upload it.
Come check this.